Welcome back everyone to another episode of Cooking with JJ. In this week's episode, I'm going to be putting myself to the challenge and making vegan and gluten-free rugelach. It's my very first time making these delicious Jewish treats, and they're going to be vegan and gluten-free, which makes it even more challenging. I've been wanting to try this for a while now. I wrote out my own recipe, so I really hope it turns out, and you will see. But if not, at least we had fun trying. I'm really excited to get started on this, and of course, enjoy them in the end. So without further ado, let's head over to the kitchen and get baking! My first attempt was a classic cream cheese dough with 1 1/4 cup of sifted all-purpose Dainty gluten-free flour, 2½ teaspoons of raw sugar, 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, 2 pinches of salt, a teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 tablespoons of almond milk. Then I had a 1/3 cup plus a tablespoon of cold vegan cream cheese and a 1/2 cup of cold unsalted vegan butter. With both versions, we're starting by adding the dry ingredients to the food processor. Then add the cold vegan cream cheese and butter in smaller pieces. Pulse this mixture until it looks crumbly. And then add the almond milk and the vanilla. Pulse it until it comes together and looks like it can be managed with your hands. On a clean floured surface, bring it together until it's a smooth ball of dough. It's ideal if your hands are cold so it doesn't warm up the dough too much. Then wrap it in saran wrap and chill it in the fridge for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, we'll get the filling ingredients together. Grate your dark, unsweetened chocolate. A heaping 1/3 cup is a good amount. Sift your cocoa powder. 2 tablespoons is good. We're using 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. Here's some packed brown sugar that kinda got a little hard, so I had to break it up with a mortar and pestle. I also added in 1 teaspoon of raw sugar. You can see we also have some melted vegan butter that will be used for brushing. Mix up the filling ingredients in a bowl. And add a little pinch of salt. Mix it up evenly. With the vegan and gluten-free ingredients, I knew using the lamination technique would pose a challenge. Elasticity was a main concern, especially with such a tricky process. Rolling out our chilled dough, I needed to let it warm slightly. Could I rely on this dainty, gluten-free all-purpose flour to hold together? I knew moisture was the key, which seemed to be sufficient in my view. Roll it out to about 7 by 18 inches. Try to roll it out into a rectangular shape. After it's rolled out, brush on the cooled, melted vegan butter. This will help the filling to stick. Sprinkle the filling evenly and feel free to move it around as you need to. We only added the filling to the lower 2/3. Then simply fold it like a letter, as if you were going to put it in an envelope. The top third gets folded down, and the bottom third gets folded on top. I tried to even it out a little here. Wrap it in your saran wrap and chill it again for 20 minutes. At this point, I was getting concerned because I did notice the cracking, although I managed to keep it together. After that 20 minutes was up, it was time to roll it again. Remember, we're rolling it the other way now. It's been turned 90 degrees. After brushing it with the vegan butter and sprinkling on the filling, fold it again like that letter. Cracking was becoming a challenge with this final fold, however I wrestled with it to keep it all together. After the final wrap and chill for a further 20 minutes, it was time to roll it out thinner. Although things got a little messy with the filling and it became marble-esque, I was still hopeful. The final roll should be 8 by 20 inches. You want it to be on the thin side, but still manageable. I cut the dough into triangles, aiming for a 2-inch base on each triangle. This is an approximation. Roll up each triangle from the base to the tip, and place them on a parchment-lined baking sheet. Once they're all rolled up and on the baking sheet, brush them with some vegan milk. The oven has been preheated to 325 Fahrenheit, so they're going in for about 20 to 25 minutes. We'll turn the baking sheet halfway through. It's that time again. I get to try our Rugelach, vegan and gluten-free. We'll see how they turned out. Yeah, definitely add a little bit more sugar. They'd work well as a snack with coffee and tea, but I would want them to be more sweet. In the end, I did manage to keep them together, but it was a challenge. I'll be adding the adjustments for this recipe in the description box below, so watch out for that. For the second version, I had a couple of pinches of raw sugar in a bowl. I added the heated almond milk, which was 109 Fahrenheit, then 2 1/4 teaspoons of yeast. I stirred it up and let it proof for 5 to 10 minutes. You'll see it gets all frothy like this. For the filling, I increased the packed brown sugar to 1/4 cup's worth, and this batch was more moist. I used the same 1 tablespoon of raw sugar. I was hoping this increase would make a big difference. For the dough, I also increased the sugar dramatically to 2 tablespoons. I added 1 tablespoon of Psyllium husk for an additional binder. Despite the adjustments, I still ran into the cracking challenges, although I managed to keep it all together. Next time, after getting the dough formed, I shall let it sit at room temperature for 20 minutes. This will allow the psyllium husk to do its thing more so. I'd also be inclined to add 1/2 teaspoon of xanthan gum. Another change I made was adding 1/2 teaspoon of almond extract. Now we're simply repeating the process as before. Brush them with the vegan milk and then add them to the oven. We're keeping the temperature the same and the bake time the same. Although some say increasing the temperature and reducing the bake time may result in a flakier texture. Halfway through, I rebrush the rugelach with the vegan milk and I turn the pan the other way, and I was anxious to see the results of the added sugar. The first version resulted in a harder texture and I did want to soften things up. This is why I opted for the yeast method. I'm keen on trying the deglutenized caputo flour in the future. This may provide very different results. I'm excited to compare those results in the future. I could tell in the end the texture was going to be different. If you have experiences with different gluten-free flours, feel free to share in the comments below. Alright everyone, it's time for round 2 with our vegan gluten-free rugelach. I like it much better. It has a softer texture. You can taste more of the sugar. I increased the sugar by quite a bit, but even still, somehow all that sugar gets absorbed, so it's not really over the top. It's a mildly sweet rugelach. Adding the almond extract was also a good call. Perfect with coffee. So there you have it everyone, another adventure in my kitchen. And remember, if you like this video in any way, shape, or form, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to my channel, and hit that little bell notification icon so you don't miss a single video. Until next time, this is JJ signing off, keeping things interesting in my kitchen and in yours. Bon appetit. Chag Chanukah Sameach. Sevivon sov sov sov. Chanukah hu chag tov. Chanukah hu chag tov. Sevivon sov sov sov. Chag simcha hu la'am. Nes gadol haya sham. Chag simcha hu la'am. Nes gadol haya sham. Mi yemele gevrot Israel otan mi imne hem bechodo yakum agibor goel ha'am. Mi yemele gevrot Israel otan mi imne hem bechodo yakum agibor goel ha'am. Shma bayamim hahem bazman hazeh. Maccabee Moshiach Ufodeh.